my channel, your channel, or channel, Women Healing Together. I'm Pops and Francis. If this is your first time, welcome. If you're returning, thank you for coming back. And before we continue, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Today we're going to be talking about the big P, period, menstruation. I'm going to be sharing 10 ways that you can cope while you're seeing your period. Come with me on the journey. Hi ladies, as I said, today I'm going to be talking about our period, menstruation. For some of us, when it comes on to that time of the month, we dread it because we know it's going to be torture. If you're like me, you have severe period cramps. Just crazy. Talking about not only cramps, but diarrhea, vomiting, lethargy, just being very moody, loss of appetite. It's just so crazy and there's no relief. And it can last 5 to 7 days. That's it. The entire period, pun intended, has pain throughout. So let us get into the video. 10 ways to help you cope. The first thing that I ensure that I have is my socks, right? And I bought this at the dollar store. It's actually winter socks, but I found that it's very effective because it helps to keep my feet warm. When your feet is cold, it's just uncomfortable, and the warmer you are, the circulation is better. So I suggest investing in some really nice socks, thick socks, to just keep your feet warm. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, watch out for this one. Ensure that you have your period panties. Yes. All right. Ensure that you have your period panties. Yes, as women, we like when things are nice and sexy for our husband, but when you're seeing your period, that is not the time for it. Nobody likes a spill. So ensure that you have a panty that's big enough, underwear that's big enough and firm enough to hold that pad in place. If you use pad, if you use tampon, then that will be a little bit more secure. So remember, have your period underwears ready to go. Number 3, I ensure that I have a lot of water. Sometimes I have to force to drink it, but it helps with the flow of the blood, because remember, a lot of blood is being passed from our system. And you can just have your jar or jars of water. Now, nothing fancy. As Jamaicans, you know, we recycle everything. So this is basically my tomato sauce. That's what I bought, and I just peel off the labeling, and I fill this with water, and I try to take a sip every now and again. So definitely, ladies, I know some of us don't like to drink water, but it will definitely help with the flow of the blood as it exits the body. So that's number 3. Number 4, and this may seem a little bit unorthodox for many people, but a friend of mine, Ashoni Chang, actually introduced me to this oil, lavender oil. So I have a little roller bottle that I keep it in, and what it does, it helps to relax the nerves and the muscles in the body. And the scent is not my favorite, but it helps to relax. So what you can do is to just roll it beneath the sole, and you can even put it on like the different areas of your body, and it will really help to relax the body. It has that aromatherapy effect. So I do suggest, if you have access to lavender oil, that you definitely have this close to you. It helps to relax. What number are we now? I think we're at number 5. Number 5, this may sound a little silly to some people, but it is important. If you live alone, it is important. If you don't live alone, it is still important. If I am moving from the bedroom to the bathroom, I carry my phone. Why? We know, ladies, when we are on our menses, we don't want to talk more than once. Even though we are mumbling in pain, we expect the person who is living with us to hear exactly what we say. So think about it. And I've had that situation, and I've learned from it. You leave the bedroom, you go into the bathroom, you're maybe vomiting, diarrhea, you need a cup of tea, or you need some extra panties, and you have to be calling the person in all that pain. Like me, it will be honey, and when by the time I call 2 times and he doesn't hear, I get extremely grumpy. So I've learned over time, carry my phone with me as I go to the bathroom, so that I can send a text or call him. It saves the energy that I don't already have. So that is another thing that I use to cope. The next thing that I use to cope is my heating pad. And this is important, right? When I was younger and we're in Jamaica, we never had like heating pads. Well, I never had heating pads, and that was like, to find money to go to school, that was more important than getting heating pads. So what we used to do is to just get like plastic bottles, like the big plastic bottles, and we put hot water in that and then cover it with towel to prevent being scarred from the heat. That is dangerous. So I do not recommend that, because I have been burned more than a couple of times, right? Now, if you live alone and you have a hot water bag, a sturdy, secure hot water bag, it still can be inconvenient, because when the water gets lukewarm, you'll have to think to get up from your pain, to go to the kitchen, to boil some water, to put in the hot water bag, and then scramble. For someone who is having vomiting, diarrhea, and cramps, that is like a marathon of a walk. So I don't use the hot water bag anymore. I use my electric heating pad. It's very, very convenient, extremely. I just plug this in, and I have 3 levels, depending on how intense the cramps are. So I have high, low, don't know if you can see that, high, low, and medium, with a nice handy dandy gauge that I can just turn as I wish, and then this will light up. And the thing that I love also about my electric heating pad is the fact that it's flat, right? And it's foldable, so I can literally just fold it around my abdomen, so all the areas that are experiencing cramp and intense pain, it can get some of the heat. So I do suggest an electric heating pad. Just be careful, all right, because it is electricity. The next thing that I suggest is having your medication near. Believe it or not, some of us cannot get through our period without being medicated, because it is so intense. Here, disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical professional, and I'm not recommending any form of medication to you. I'm just telling you what works for me. So I remember years ago, God bless my friend Nikki, we were in university, and I had to be rushed to the doctor. The pills were not working, so every month I would have to get Baralgin injections to help with the pain. I can't get Baralgin here in Canada, so my friend, who is a pharmacist, and I also spoke with my doctor, recommended naproxen, which is good, very, very powerful. Usually I take like 6 pills per day, and they did not work. With this, I take 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening, and I realized that I don't even have to take 1 in the evening sometimes. So you can talk to your medical professional about naproxen and see what works best for you. Whatever medication you are using, just ensure that it is near. Another tip about medication is this: if you have 1 bottle, I suggest splitting that in 2, keep 1 at the side of your bed, and keep 1 in your handbag. So if you're on the road and your period comes, you have your medication. I've made that mistake in the past, where I leave my painkillers at home and my period comes at work, or I'm on the road and I am in intense pain. So you always want to ensure that your painkillers are near. The next thing is to ensure, and this is common, I think a lot of ladies do this, always have your sanitary napkins or your tampon, right? Always have them in every single bag. Yes, I put 1 in every single bag. I put it in the car. I have it near. So I do suggest that. And for those of us who have very heavy flow, you may want a recommendation. I use Always Maxi. So this is what I use, Always Maxi with wings. It's very long. Let me show you how it is, because this is a woman's channel, right? So it's very, very long. Like if you look, I have very long hands, and it's basically from my wrist to my elbow. That's how long it is. It really catches everything, and you can feel secure with this. And I'm not being paid to promote this. I'm just saying that this works for me, and for those of us who have heavy flow, this is a great product. All right, now something else that I use just to cope is I always have my blanket. If you're like me, you get hot, you get cold, you get hot, you get cold. So it's going to be critical that, can you imagine my my blanket was right here. All right, so can you imagine being hot and being cold? So I always have my blanket. You want to keep that near you, so as the temperature fluctuates, you can just easily cover and uncover instead of being there. It's all about convenience. You want to, if you're in pain and you want to limit your movement, you really can't do anything, not even walk, you want to ensure that the necessities are in proximity to limit your movement. Right? The next thing, and this will definitely help you if you live alone. I don't live alone, but it's a lifesaver for me because it helps my husband to cope as well. For so many of us, when we are seeing our period, we don't want to eat. There is no appetite, and what is worse than period cramps is when that is met with gas. Sometimes the gas is even more painful than the cramp itself, and I have had too much experience with that. So I don't want to chew. I don't have the energy to chew anything. I just want something to go down quick and easy. Now, if you live alone, or if you're like me where you just want to help your spouse to cope much easier, so you don't have to give them 100 instructions on how to cook one little thing, then this is what I do. Before my period comes, I cook a big pot of soup, like a really big pot of soup, and I freeze it. So a day before my period comes, or two, I take it from the freezer and I put it in the refrigerator. If it comes on the day, I just take it, put it in some water, and it's so easy for it to be heated, and you can have something to just sip to prevent that gas from being built up in your system, because that's no joke, right? And this is just a small container. I use a very large. This is my soup container, actually. Everybody who knows me knows it's filled with soup every month, so I can have something steady and sturdy being placed in my body. And I usually puree my soup so I have all the nutrients without chewing anything. It really helps. And I have one bonus tip to leave with you, and this is it. We all know about the midnight spill. When you get up in the night and your sheet is bloody, your underwear is bloody. What I found out is that I'm most comfortable sleeping on my back, but when I sleep on my sides, I do not have that issue. So if you're getting up in the night and you're seeing red, a sea of red, and you don't want that, I suggest sleeping on your sides, alternating from one side to the next. So I hope that this was helpful as I shared with you some tips. 10, I think I may have gone over 10, but I shared 10 tips to help you cope while you are seeing your period. Remember to like, subscribe, and share, and also in the description box below, let us hear some ways that you cope when you are seeing your period, your menstruation. All right, see you soon.